Roy was such a junk hog that Herman and I had to shoot more than we needed to keep up with him and get our share. I began shooting in the main line to save stuff, and because the immediate kick was better, we were having trouble filling the scripts. Most drugstores will only fill a morphine script once or twice. Many, not at all. There was one drugstore that would fill all our scripts anytime, and we took them all there, though Roy said we ought to spread them out so they would be harder for the inspector to find. It was too much trouble to walk around from drugstore to drugstore, so we usually ended up taking them to the same place. I was learning to hide my stuff carefully, stash it, as they say in the trade, so Roy and Herman couldn't find it and take some. Taking junk hidden by another junkie is known as making him for his stash. It's difficult to guard against this form of theft because junkies know where to look for a stash. Some people carry their junk around with them, but a man who does that is subject to a charge of possession in the event of search by the law. As I began using stuff every day, or often several times a day, I stopped drinking and going out at night. When you use junk, you don't drink. Seemingly, the body that has a quantity of junk in its cells will not absorb alcohol. The liquor stays in the stomach, slowly building up nausea, discomfort, dizziness, and there is no kick. Using junk would be a sure cure for alcoholics. I also stopped bathing. When you use junk, the feel of water on the skin is unpleasant for some reason, and junkies are reluctant to take a bath. A lot of nonsense has been written about the changes people undergo as they get a habit. All of a sudden, the addict looks in the mirror and does not recognize himself. The actual changes are difficult to specify, and they do not show up in the mirror. That is, the addict himself has a special blind spot as far as the progress of his habit is concerned. He generally does not realize that he is getting a habit at all. He says there's no need to get a habit if you're careful and observe a few rules like shooting every other day. Actually, he does not observe these rules, but every extra shot is regarded as exceptional. I have talked to many addicts, and they all say they were surprised when they discovered they actually had the first habit. Many of them attributed their symptoms to some other cause. As the habit takes hold, life telescopes down to junk, one fix and looking forward to the next, stashes and scripts, spikes and droppers. The addict himself often feels that he is leading a normal life, and the junk is incidental. He does not realize that he is just going through the motions in his non-junk activities. It is not until his supply is cut off that he realizes what junk means to him. Why do you need narcotics, Mr. Lee? Is a question that stupid psychiatrists ask. The answer is, I need junk to get out of bed in the morning, to shave and eat breakfast. I need it to stay alive. All croakers pack in sooner or later. One day when Roy came for his script, the doctor told him, "Now this is positively the last, and you guys had better keep out of sight. The inspector was around to see me yesterday. He has all the RXs I wrote for you guys. He told me I'll lose my license if I write any more. So I'm going to date this one back. Tell the druggist you were too sick yesterday to cash it. You guys gave some wrong addresses on those scripts, and that's a violation of Public Health Law 334. So don't say I didn't warn you. For God's sakes, cover up for me if they question you. This could mean my whole professional career. You know I've always been right with you boys. I wanted to stop months ago. I just couldn't leave you guys stranded. So give me a break. Here's the script, and don't come back. Our croaker had packed in. We split up to comb the city. We covered Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, Jersey City, and Newark. We couldn't even score for Pentapon. It seemed like the doctors were all expecting us, just waiting for us to walk into the office so they could say absolutely no. It was as though every doctor in greater New York had suddenly taken a pledge never to write another narcotic script. We were running out of junk. Patently, we would be immobilized in a matter of hours. Roy decided to throw in the towel and go to Rikers Island for the 30-day cure. This is not a reduction cure. They don't give any junk, not even a sleeping tablet. All they offer the addict is 30 days detention. The place is always full. Herman got picked up in the Bronx while he was looking for a croaker. No definite charge, just two detectives didn't like his looks. When they got him downtown, they found out the narcotics squad had a warrant for him sworn out by the state inspector. The charge was wrong address on a narcotics script. Some wagon-chasing lawyer called me up and asked if I could put up the money to buy Herman a bond. I sent $2 for cigarettes instead. If a man's going to do time, he might as well start doing it. I was all out of junk at this point and had double-boiled my last cottons. Junk is cooked up in a spoon and sucked into the dropper through a little piece of cotton to get it all out of the spoon. Some of the solution stays in the cotton, and addicts save their cottons for emergencies. When I heard one day that Herman had been arrested, I figured I would be next. But I was already sick and did not have the energy to leave town. I was arrested at my apartment by two detectives and a federal agent. The state inspector had sworn out a warrant charging me with a violation of Public Health Law 334 for giving a wrong name on a prescription. The two detectives were the con man and tough guy team. The con man was asking me, "How long you been using junk, Bill? You know you ought to give a right name on those scripts." Then the tough guy would break in. Come on, we're not Boy Scouts." But they were not much interested in the case, and a statement from me was not necessary. I was taken to the tombs, mugged and fingerprinted. While I was waiting to go before the judge, the con man gave me a cigarette and began telling me what a bad deal junk is. Even if you get by with it 30 years, you're only kidding yourself. Now you take those sex degenerates. His eyes glistened. The doctors say they can't help themselves. The judge set bail at $1,000. I was taken back to the tombs, ordered to take off my clothes and get under the shower. An apathetic guard poked through my clothes. I got dressed again, went up in the elevator, and was assigned to a cell. The last of the codeine was running out. My nose and eyes began to run. Sweat soaked through my clothes. Hot and cold flashes hit me as though a furnace door was swinging open and shut. I lay down on the bunk too weak to move. My legs ached and twitched so that any position was intolerable. And I moved from one side to the other, sloshing about in my sweaty clothes. A negro voice was singing, get up, woman, off your big, fat, rusty, dusty." Voices drifted back and forth. 40 years, man, I can't do no 40 years. At 12 that night, my old lady bailed me out and met me at the door with some goofballs. Goofballs help a little. Next day I was worse and could not get out of bed, so I stayed in bed taking Nambies at intervals. At night I would take 2 strips of Benzedrine and go out to a bar where I sat right by the jukebox. When you're sick, music is a great help. Once in Texas, I kicked a habit on weed, a pint of paregoric, and a few Louis Armstrong records. Almost worse than the sickness is the depression that goes with it. One afternoon I closed my eyes and saw New York in ruins. Huge centipedes and scorpions crawled in and out of empty bars and cafeterias and drugstores on 42nd Street. Weeds were going up through cracks and holes in the pavement. There was no one in sight. After 5 days, I began to feel a little better. After 8 days, I got the chucks and developed a tremendous appetite for cream puffs and macaroons. In 10 days, the sickness had gone. My case had been postponed.